Okay, I'm here with Sarah Rusnak, Coach of the Month, another Idahoan, and I'm thrilled because you've also been here. You've been here in yoga health coaching as a mentor and helping new members move through the course process. And you've done quite a bit of coaching, and you've shifted, like you shared on the other call the other day. Like you really shifted a lot in your business from being more focused on body work and yoga teaching to now being able to really support people in their habits and their shifts. And so what do you want to share with yoga health coaches as far as what can they learn from your experience? Hmm. Yeah, because you came in through living Ayurveda course before yoga health coaching, right? Oh, I'm like, we've known each other for a while. I know that. Okay. Right. So, but that kind of speaks to what you're saying though about being in it for the long haul. Like if I'm in it for the long haul of the people coming to me and I'm going to keep creating and staying ahead of the future needs and desires, like realizing that as we evolve, we innovate and doing that in a collaborative way with course members, right? Because the business course, the yoga health coaching didn't exist when we had the yoga business course, which didn't exist when we had the mentors course. But it's like things evolved as our needs evolved, as the members of Living Ayurveda course evolved into saying like, hey, we don't want to really practice Ayurveda. Like we just want to help people get better with the stuff we're doing at home. Right. And then it moves along. So are you seeing that in part of this, hey, I'm in it for the long haul, when you're introducing that to your people, like I will support your journey. Because let me just add one more piece, and I know to a fault now I'm making things excessively complex, but to me they all really tie together. Is that when someone knows that you're gonna keep helping them evolve, like not just this year, but next year and the next year and the next year, like you're really saying like I'm into your long term and in your long-term growth, and you know what, like I'm actually available if you're actually committed to that, to being on your long-term team. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I notice this all the time. I can like, Body Thrive. I'm coaching right now. We have one woman said on the last call, like, I'm gross obese. Another woman on the last call has lost 50 pounds in Body Thrive. This is her third round. She's been in since September, so not that long, like less than a year. Right. So I'm attracting people where they must look at me and be like, "Wow, I'm never gonna be there." Right. I was just telling you about my last pound of Alma. Like, I am not carrying extra body weight. Uh, yeah, I'm strong. I'm life. My habits are dialed in, automated. They're not going to look at me and be like, "That's going to happen in 10 weeks," right? Or right? But what they're gonna see is like they'll relate to some part of my story of I used to feel like crap, and I learned how to feel better, and I've made it really easy for you, right? And so the same thing's true with a business model. It's like no one has to want to build a whatever, a half million or a million or multi-million dollar business. They just might want to get to a place where they love their work, they love how committed their members are, they love the results that they're seeing from their work, and they're getting more financial traction every year, and in level with how they want to exchange their value in the world, right? And because it doesn't matter as long as I've been through that stage before, as long as I remember what it was like to get paid that first $100 bill in exchange for helping someone move forward in their health, right? Yeah. 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 Right. And I see that too with so much of, the other coaches and the bloggers and the mentors, like the other coaches of the month, and just seeing like, oh, there's all these different ways to do it. And at the retreats to see how much people just want to, how are you doing it? How are you doing it? And that like really starting to see like, hey, how are you getting your people much more thinking about the long-term relationship that you offer? And I actually wanted to return to that because the other thing that I see as a future need in the marketplace in an easy way to demonstrate value and help people experience our value is something that I know that you're naturally doing, but maybe it's a different way of thinking about it. And that's, like who's on your wellness team? Like who's on your thrive team? Right? When we're talking with someone, like who's going to be there in 2 years, who's like helped you evolve, and then something happens in life because things happen in life, and they help you, uh, you know, more or less like manage what's coming on. And I see this all the time with deaths, sometimes with births, with accidents, with moves, like the stuff that's really uprooting to people and tends to send them into a path of losing all the good work they've done, right? Like who's going to have your back? And that's something that when you're talking about the long haul, I'm sure that your members see you as like, wow, this I'm so glad to have Sarah on my team. Not just for today, but for next year when Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, but we just don't know we truly don't know the value because we have nothing to relate it to. We have no prior experience. There's not other people that can quantify it for us or whatnot. But I see it all the time. I mean, when I shifted to having the retreats as part of it for community building, really, well, because everyone was like, I need to actually see you, Kate. And I was like, really? I like the whatever. Okay. But then we started doing them and then I started to realize like, oh, right, this business model of building a tribe, of having a really conscious enrollment process that sort of qualifies, not sort of, that does qualify the members coming into a group to be with other people that are at their right that are at their level of commitment, and then to have a transformational experience where then it grows, right? So that it is the long haul, that it's not just like, okay, we're just going to dial in your habits and then you're good to go, you'll be all set, see you, right? Because we all know that's not it's not how it works, and it's not how it works with the yoga health coaching business model. And when we ask ourselves like why, it's like the market's always changing, our bodies are always changing, nature's always changing, right? The present is different than the past. So who do we want to travel with, right? Yeah. 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 And it's not avoidance of it at all. It's just that it's accepting the support to be able to be open and receptive in the face of change, which when I interviewed Dave Gray not long ago for author of Liminal Thinking, he's like that transformational times are when your habits, like you can design the best habits for yourself with rapid ease because you're already out of the pattern. But how many of us do use a death or a birth or a move or a new relationship or a new job to or losing a job. Like it doesn't have to be the good, an accident. To be like, okay, I'm in the space of where I can experience rapid progressive change if I have the support team in place. So I'd love for you to hear for the people that have really been your where you've been their biggest supporter in in the community that you've created around your work with your health coaching. What are you noticing that they are coming for? Like that they return for, that they're the biggest ahas or shifts that they're experiencing through you, or the community you're creating, because it's probably both. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of working with Brant Pasquale, his target audience is like the gross obese population. That's like, the 4 to 500 pound people. And that's what he says is like, how can you slow down? And the reason I bring that up is because when people don't know how to feed themselves and they don't know how to cook for themselves, they don't have to be obese, but they're not going to feel the nurturance. It's that same lack of knowing what nurturance is from the inside out, right? Like knowing how to experience nourishment at a really very fundamental level. And he's just like, how can we slow everything down? And he has them start with like the simplest thing. It's very Kaizen, like the simplest thing. He has them just like lay down and put their hands on their belly and lower belly and feel. That's the pranayama. It's like don't do anything to change your breath. Just feel. And it seems like that's what you did for this woman of like, hey, let's just go check out the kitchen. Oh, there's a kitchen. Kitchens come in houses. This is so convenient. Super. Yeah. 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 It almost yeah, I mean there's the patterns that with experience we start to see. I just want to say in closing, it's really exciting, for your people in northern Idaho to know that like okay, you're in it for the long haul and there can be rapid transformation and we can start where you're at, right? Like we can't not start where you're at because that wouldn't work. And when I listened into this conversation from behind myself, it's like, wow, like I'm sure you're the first person they run into who's willing to really understand their needs and provide for their needs. And to me, that's so much of the gift of yoga health coaching and the yoga health coaches that they're bringing to their communities like you're bringing to yours. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 And what a gift. I mean, and I just want to hear and everyone listening, it's like if that's what you're doing, you need to tell people that. Like, hey, I'm not looking to be the most popular yoga health coach. I'm working to work, I want to work with a few people really deeply. Because if you're one of those people and you're like, oh my gosh, who's the lucky one? Right? And they're like, sweet. I'm not just going to get this, like this woman's going to know who I am. She's going to know what I need, and she's going to help guide me. So when we articulate that, we can charge whatever we want because it's such a unique offer. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, if you write it, make sure you press publish because it's for them. It's not for you. they, and you can put it, we change our scripts all the time. We update our scripts I mean, everything from like the emails we send out to what's said on calls and whatnot. It's like we don't realize we use scripts at home too with our weekly family meeting. We script ourselves because we're trying to learn, we're trying to up level our dynamic relationships, right? And for us in yoga health coaching, like we're trying to up level our value. So if you're playing a script that you were doing 6 months ago, you're not going to be able to transact as much value in the marketplace. It's outdated. So you update like, okay, I'm going to need to say that like 25 times to a mirror, then 5 times to my best friend, then practice on 5 yoga students, and then by then it'll actually start to naturally come out. Awesome. Well, Sarah Rusnak, it's been, as always, just an absolute pleasure to connect with you. I hope I see you in Rapid City. We're going to Rapid City. Did you hear? Yeah, it's October 6th to 8th. Yep. Good. I want you to be there. Yay!